Well, thanks for inviting me down, Steve, again. And I've had two handouts. One is a little fact sheet on probably our leading programs for transitional housing. It's a supportive housing. So it's a prettier version than what you get off the internet. But there is the internet website. You can go there and explore around on our homeless information exchange site. It talks a lot about our different homeless programs and various studies that have been done and various subpopulations that are considered homeless or people with special needs. And this website is updated on a regular basis. So it's an alternative to the main HUD website. But it's an official HUD website. So I just wanted to point this out to you. And so it briefly tells you how you can use the supportive housing program needs. One thing I do need to caution you is we're in a state of transition. Recently, a couple years ago, in fact, Congress amended the McKinney-Vento Act that governs most of our homeless programs. And so there will be new regulations coming out, I was told soon a year ago. So I learned that in some parts of the industry it's 2 weeks, and in some parts of the industry it's soon. So a broader definition of what soon means than perhaps what you were raised with. So what I can talk about is the way the rules are today, and they were yesterday, what they might be 6 months or 2 years from now. There could be some changes. But in the end, there's only 3 ways to do housing. You either buy it, build it, or rent it. So it's just how do you do it and which tools give you that option. But I just wanted to let you know. And the thing is that the fact that we're changing can be opportunities. It can also be time for, we'll go through proposed regulations. So maybe you don't like what we're proposing, so it gives you a chance to say, hey, what about this, what about that? This is how we think it should be changed. I mean, it has to still be done within the law. We can't suddenly declare something that the law doesn't permit, but within the so the regulations are being developed. So just something to think about. This money is provided through the continuum care process. Mary Eulin Evans and Southeast Minnesota Continuum of Care is how funds get distributed. And so if you wish to pursue funding in the area of homelessness, I work very closely with that continuum. The state has also dovetailed with that. So it is a planning body, it's a collaborative, it's a body of equals. So you don't have to feel like you're less important than anybody else there. You come and voice and advocate for your interests or your background or your specialty, because we want those planning bodies to be broadly based in interests, skills, diversity of culture, and needs. Also, I want to say today was a big day for homeless projects in Minnesota. We announced the new grants. It was $2.6 million in new efforts. So these are not current programs, but expansion, and we'll be adding units. We have one of our biggest winners here in the audience today, Rick Clune, who got a project here in Rochester, the Silver Creek, and a couple of projects up in the Duluth area. Somebody else who's worked quite a bit with homeless youth and now works with disabled homeless, Rich. And he's with Hearth Connection. He formerly was Freeport West, and that was one of the cases in my listing here, so he probably knows more about it than I do, or at least based on what it was a few years ago. So what I wanted to do with my presentation, instead of doing show the pretty pictures, just kind of go through and say, give you some case studies here in Minnesota. And so I just started with the newest one in the fact that it was built recently. And it's a project that serves 15 youth in Virginia, Minnesota. It's a brand new construction. Each apartment I think 13 of the units are large efficiencies or studios, whatever you want to call it. They have a kitchen, they have a bathroom, and then a big space. The other 2 are 1-bedroom units, and they're designed for youth who have children. I like some of what's going on inside. I mean, physically it's a beautiful building, it's nice, red wood, painted red, it fits into the setting. And so it's visually very beautiful, but besides that, it's kind of, in my mind, kind of a mixed-use program. I mean, in the sense that not all the units are dedicated to one subpopulation of youth. There are some transitional units, there are units designated as permanent housing for youth, which may seem like an oxymoron, but in our world that means that the individual has a disability, a significant disability, and they probably need more services, and so therefore it's not appropriate to say, you know, you have to be out in 6 months or 24 months. But it's a nice mix of programs. In it, how HUD has participated, we've provided capital through our home program, which was administered by St. Louis County. There's some project-based Section 8 from the Virginia Housing Redevelopment Authority. There's also 6 units of Shelter Plus Care, which is a rental assistance program, that are based in those units and administered through the Virginia Housing Authority and Arrowhead Economic Opportunity Agency. We also have a little bit of supportive housing program money in there to provide additional operating. It's mostly in the area of, they're calling it security, but it's kind of security slash, I would say, after hours case management. In other words, because it's youth, because you have kids with issues, it's good to have somebody there all the time. And so they're not necessarily wearing a blue uniform and got a billy club. They're just there to kind of be some eyes and ears and make sure the youth don't do some of the things that I did when I was a youth. Perhaps 1 or 2 of you others. Yeah, college was fun. So you get a flavor for that. The next page, page 2, are some different developments around the metropolitan area. The top 2 are apartments. One is in North Minneapolis, new construction. Again, we provided capital. Half the units are for youth that are coming out, I believe, out of the foster care and criminal justice system, and the other half are homeless youth. So our money is set aside just for the half that are designated homeless. It's permanent housing, so each youth has a disability. And in our world, a disability includes chemical addiction as well as mental health or a physical disability. The other is the Bridge of Minneapolis, which is, that is new construction, that part of and then the other part was a substantial rehab of a building. So they have their offices, counseling services, and then 2 floors of transitional housing, and we funded 10 beds of transitional housing in the Bridge program. Besides the money coming through the supportive housing program, the handout I gave you, there was money also through community development block grant and home money administered by the city of Minneapolis, but originated with HUD. The 2 buildings down below, one is in Prior Lake, and we provided both capital and support services through the SHP program. And that was, the one in Prior Lake has 5 units, of which 4 units are dedicated to homeless youth as defined by HUD, who have a disability. The other building looks like a big farmhouse, and it's not. It's new construction. It's deep. It has 5 efficiency units and 1 2-bedroom unit for a kind of live-in counselor, caseworker, eyes and ears.